You don't always have to have your flash at a 45-degree angle when shooting portraits. Let's talk about it. When it comes to off-camera flash and portrait photography, there rarely is a one-size-fits-all approach. And I've said this in many of my videos, and I will continue to say it in my videos. There is no one way to use your flash every single time with every shoot, every situation. It really depends on the look that you're wanting to get and the quality of light that you're wanting to put on your subject. So people will often say that when you do portrait, you need to have your flash at a 45-degree angle to get the most flattering light. And I'm going to disagree with that 100% of the time for two reasons. Number one, flattering is subjective. So what is flattering to one person may not be flattering to somebody else. And number two, and more importantly, the look that you're going to get with the flash being at a 45-degree angle may not be the look that you want. If you know about lighting, you'll know about Rembrandt lighting, and the way that you get Rembrandt lighting is definitely having your flash at that 45-degree angle. But knowing about Rembrandt lighting, you know that that's a very moody, dramatic type of lighting. So you may not want that mood and drama, so therefore it wouldn't make sense to always have your flash at a 45-degree angle. It will make more sense to have it more broad like this, so that way you're filling in those shadows more. If you're out on location and you want to balance your flash with your ambient, so you don't want your shot to look very flashy, it's going to make more sense to have your flash in a more broad position like this, so that way you're filling in those shadows, but you're not having that look of drama and mood that you're going to get from it being at 45 degrees. So when it comes to this, don't just do it one way. Think about what you want, the look that you want, what you're going for, and then position your flash in a way that makes sense based off of that. Now, when it comes to those two positions, you may think that there's going to be this big, huge difference. Now, I can definitely tell you that there is a difference, but it probably isn't going to be as strong of a difference as you may think. Now, in this, I'm using a smaller modifier. This is a 25-inch quick octave, and I'm using the smaller modifier because I really want the shadows to be more pronounced so that you can see the difference. If you're using a bigger modifier, the differences between both positions is going to be minimized because your shadow transitions are going to be smoother, so you're not even going to see it as much. So with that being said, we've got the quick octave, I've got a speed light, we've got the mannequin. Let's jump in and get to these examples. Now, before I jump into this, let's play a little game and see if you can pick which is which. So in the comments below, don't cheat because I'm going to talk about it in the video. So don't watch the video and then, tell me what you thought based off of what it actually is. Be fair, be truthful. Tell me which one you think is the one that is angled at 45 degrees. So is it image A on the left or image B on the right, the one that you think the modifier was placed at 45 degrees? Hit the comments, let me know. Even if you watch this video, hit the comments, let me know which one you picked. Before I jump into this, I do want to first show that I haven't done anything with the images. So here is the image on the left. Well, the one that was on the left. Here's the one that was on the right. I haven't done anything with these. These are straight out of camera raw images. So the image on the left, image A, is the one that was shot with the flash in the more broad position. And image B, the one here on the right, is the one that was shot with the modifier at 45 degrees. If we start down here, we can see that, the shadows are deeper here, which would make sense, because when it's at 45 degrees, it's going to be above your subject, angled. So of course the head itself is going to cast more of a shadow. So we've got some more shadow here. If we come up here to this area right here, you can see that this hot spot, it's a little bit hotter than it is over here. That also would make sense because again, we have the flash above our subject. So it's very close to this part of the face. So naturally you're going to have more exposure or more of a hot spot there. And if we come over here to this area, this is definitely where you would expect to see more shadow. So if you're ever deconstructing an image and you kind of want to know where a flash was placed, of course you can use the catch lights In my mannequin, there's never a catch light because it's just not reflective enough, but you can always look at the shadow. So you can see here on the right, we've got loop lighting. You can see that with the shadow, you got the loop shadow here on the nose. Whereas over here on the left, where the flash was in a more broad position, that shadow is more to the side of the face. So that definitely lets us know that this flash was more broad with the subject and to the side versus, above or below. But as I mentioned, there's definitely a little bit more shadow over here than there is on this side here. Okay, now I'm gonna add a little twist to it. I'm gonna bring in a bounce card because obviously with the light in this position, you have a little bit more shadow, especially under the chin and in the neck area. So I'm going to bring in a bounce card to kind of fill in those shadows and then compare that to the light when it was just straight on. If I compare the image that was taken with the flash in a more broad light position, and I compare that with the image that was lit with the flash at 45 degrees, but with a bounce card, you'll see that these images are very similar, very similar. You would be hard pressed, aside from cheating and looking at the light position over here and the reflection in this picture, you would be hard pressed to be able to tell which one was which. So when it comes to flash position, having it at 45 versus having it at broad, you're able to get flattering light with both. So there isn't one over the other that should always be your go-to. You can get quality flattering light in either position. And so it really just depends on what you're looking to get. When I'm out on location, I am wanting to blend my flash with the ambient. I don't want the image to look flashy. I don't want it to look like I use flash. So I'm looking at the shadows that are already falling on the face, and I don't want to add additional shadows. So if I had my flash at 45 degree, I'm potentially and more likely going to be adding shadow that isn't there. And that's going to be counterproductive to what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to add shadows. I'm not trying to make the image look like I'm using flash. I'm just trying to lift the exposure on the face a little bit, but I want the scene and the image to mainly be lit with ambient. So in situations like that, I'm going to place the flash in a more broad position. Now, when it comes to lighting your entire subject, I know these are headshots, so it doesn't really illustrate it, but when it comes to doing like a half body or a full body and wanting to light a lot of your subject, you're actually going to have better light on the rest of your subject when you have the light in a more broad position. Now, when you think about having it at 45 degree, when it's at 45 degree, it's almost always going to be above your subject. So you're raising the light up high and it's above your subject, and then that light is coming down. Now, when you think about the inverse square law, when you have the light above your subject and it's almost certainly going to be pretty close to your subject, you're going to have a pretty dramatic fall off of light. So if you were trying to do a full body and you have your light up here, by the time you get to their legs, all the way down to the bottom, that light fall off is going to be dramatic. So if you want to light your full subject, you are going to do it much easier and much better having your light in a more broad position, because now you're not having the inverse square law work against you. You don't have your light up here where this part is lit and then you start to have light fall off. Instead, you have your light here. So you're lighting all of this evenly, and you're going to get light spread as well. So you're going to light that body more evenly and you're not working against yourself. So there you have it. For more tips and tricks, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And on your way out the door, if you could smash that like button for me, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for watching this video, and until the next video, take care.